many years ago when I was fishing, I felt that I needed something more of a boost on the hook bait to actually individualize it and to make the carp come down it a little bit quicker than what they were. Went away and formulated a product called Betalin. Now, Betalin over the years has become one of the biggest selling liquids across Europe. A fantastic product. It's completely natural. It is so sweet, it's untrue, but no bad aftertaste whatsoever. If you do get it in your mouth, you realise that you get this intense sweetness and then a real smoothness as it goes down your throat. Not that we're advocating drinking it out of the bottle. That's then mixed with a flavour enhancer and an appetite stimulator to produce what I believe to be one of the best bait dips ever invented. You can use it on practically anything. You can use it on plastic. We've used it on worms, on maggots, any types of imitation, onto pellets, onto fishy baits, onto sweet baits. Every single hook bait can actually have an advantage by being dipped in the Betalin. There's many other uses for it as well. You can use it into a base mix. You can use between 2 and 3 mil per 6 egg mix. You can use it in your particles to sweeten your particles up. Normally what I tend to do is put anywhere between 2 or 3 mil in the soak with the particle. I then cook it up and add another 2 or 3 mil afterwards. Now, beware of many imitations out there. Obviously, when you get a product like this, which is that popular, everyone's going to try and imitate it. But the beauty of Betalin is you can't copy it exactly. You can't get that sweetness, that beautiful flavour coming through with it. Now, because it's so sweet and it's so natural, there's many other uses on top of that as well. If you put it in with, you say take some tiger nut hook baits, put them into a pot, as soon as you put the Betalin on top of them, it completely preserves them. Because the sugar is so intense in there, it's impossible for those tigers to go off. So you can have a little pot of tigers in your bag and they can stay in there year in, year out until you've used them all up. Now, we leave all these baits soaking in the Betalin to get as much within there as possible. Maize is another one that is used quite heavily on, where, you know, again, maize hook baits do tend to go off, and when they go very, very stinky. With Betalin on top of them, they are totally preserved, and you can use them, same as the tigers and many other baits, year in, year out, without those hook baits actually going off. Another use, obviously, if you're a smoker, if you've got any tainted horrible bits and pieces on your hand, the Betalin will completely eradicate that. So, you know, if you're playing with your hook bait and thinking, oh, have I transferred bad taste on there, if your hook bait is dipped in Betalin, you haven't got any problems with that at all. The fish absolutely love it. When you see the hook bait holds that you get, they really scoop that hook bait down. So what we normally tend to do is the feed around that hook bait tends to be very lightly dribbled with a little tiny bit of Betalin, just to get them wanting a bit more and a bit more of a hit. The hook bait, where it is very intense, they snap at it and it does pick up some huge fish, which it has done over the years, and it's going to for many years to come. So my advice is, if you're looking for a bait dip, then get on the Betalin.
Hiya, I'm Mark Bartlett, and I do an awful lot of carp fishing, and one of my key edges is enhancing my hook bait to maximum effect to get me the bite in the quickest possible time that I can. I catch a lot of fish. I do a lot of, you know, busy waters, catching a lot of fish, repeatedly casting in and out of the water all the time. And for me, one of my biggest edges is using this stuff. It's instant. You can chuck it out, and it's got such a great power for pulling fish to your hook bait. You can, well, not only can you use it for that, you can use it for other stuff. But firstly, I do a lot of zig fishing. I won't chuck my zig out into the lake without dunking it in this stuff. It's as simple as just dunk it in the pot, give it a little spin round, and chuck it out in the pond. And I'm convinced that sometimes this can actually get the fish into a frenzy. It's that sweet, and it's unique as well. I mean, there's not another product on the market like this one. It's completely natural. It's been around for years, and it has got probably the best proven track record for catching fish. And also, if you use a lot of plastic corn, you can soak your plastic corn in there. So for either zigs or any other hook bait, especially plastic corn, this stuff will actually almost stain the bait. So the flavour will stay on there for absolutely hours. You could wind in the next morning and it will still smell pretty much like you've just chucked it out into the pond. Again, it's a great additive. You can put it with particles. Obviously you don't want to put too much of it because it is quite intense. So there's a recommended dosage for when you say cooking tiger nuts or putting it in with your spod mix or stuff like that. But for me, it's a must, and I wouldn't cast that into the lake without putting this on my hook bait. Especially also if you're making PV bags up and you're going to leave your bags in the bucket made up for when you go fishing, if you're tying them up in the week. If you dunk your hook baits in this stuff, then put them in the bags, you know that when you cast it out into the lake, your hook bait is going to be smelling just as fresh as when you put it in there. So for me, it's a little wonder. Another victim to the Betalin and Zigaliner combo. Seems to work wherever I go, this. If you're not catching on the bottom, I'm straight on the Zigaliners, soak them in Betalin. They just seem to rattle off every time. Hardly ever let me down, and certainly get you out of the trouble like they have today. I mean, tough conditions now, it's red hot, the fish are just in the upper layers of the water, especially with the lakes being so deep. You can't beat it. You're fishing up in the water with the Zigaliners. Again, total attraction from the Betalin, and they just seem to adore it. Well, this one did anyway.